Welcome to the Morrowind Mages Guild, Nerevar. This is the first in a set of guides designed to give you ideas for custom spells you should create, plus the shortest way to unlock the spell effects as early as possible for use in the crafting system. This guide is fully compatible with Vanilla Morrowind, Tamriel Rebuilt, Open Morrowind, and generally the Elder Scrolls 3 multiplayer servers, but focuses on the vanilla crafting system with no big mod changes. If you use mods to change around the magic system in Morrowind, then you will need to reference the mod documentation on spell effect changes or spell location changes. Today we will be touching on the basics of the spell crafting system, plus restoration spells I believe every player should work into their arsenal as soon as possible. I'll assume you already have a vague understanding of the system itself, so I won't spend much time on that in the next section, so if you'd like to skip ahead, timestamps are in the description below. Also be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you ended up learning something today. In short, the crafting system works like this. You buy spell effects that unlock the base form in the crafting system from various trainers across Vvardenfell. Travel to any special spellmaker in the Mages Guild Hall to craft spells. Some spellmakers may require to be a certain rank in the guild. Set your spell effects and their magnitudes. Magnitude determines how strong the spell will be. For example, if you create a fire spell that has a magnitude 1 to 10 on touch, that means the spell can only hit in melee range and will deal between 1 and 10 damage each time it is cast. Guaranteed magnitude spells will always cost more than a spell with a magnitude range, such as a range from 1 to 10 instead of just dealing a flat 50 damage. Set your duration. This is the amount of real life time the spell persists on the target in seconds. It delivers the full magnitude of the spell every 1 second. Say you created a healing spell that heals 1 to 10 damage on self for 5 seconds. That means the amount the spell rolls first is the damage you'd heal every second for 5 seconds. In practical terms, it would look like this. You cast a spell, it rolls 1 to 10, and for this example we'll say the result is 4. Then you'd heal 4 damage every 1 second for a total of 5 seconds. Area is the amount of in-game feet that the spell will affect ally, neutral, hostile targets for offensive spells, or ally and neutral targets for defensive spells. Ranged spells cost more and take higher skill to cast than touch or self-casting spells. The cost in the top right is the amount of Magicka required to cast the spell, and the chance is the chance the spell will cast based on your current stats. Name your spells. It is recommended you put a symbol or a 1 in front of all the names of your custom spell for easy sorting. I like to name my spells after pop culture or role-playing references. Each custom spell can contain up to a max of 8 spell effects, with each effect increasing the Magicka cost, plus some effects cannot be repeated. For example, you can repeat Fortify Intelligence but not Fortify Magicka. Custom spells that involve Conjuration spells are unique to that spell ID. For example, you can bypass the summon limit by creating multiple spells with the same effect. Like if I wanted to summon 3 Ancestral Ghosts, I'd make 3 separate spells with the Summon Ancestral Ghost effect. Remember, once you buy a spell from a trainer, it unlocks to use as an effect to enchant gear from yourself or as an enchanter NPC. The first spell we have today is a Magicka restoration spell, intended to keep you casting spells and sleeping less regardless of if you chose the Atronach burst sign or not. It's a neat little trick that uses the game's Magicka math against itself to gain back Magicka. This is the first spell you should absolutely make even if you aren't planning on playing a magic user. It will cut down on the amount of potions you need to create and carry, make you need to sleep less, and allows you to exceed your maximum Magicka value temporarily. The base spells are bought from a city you will be spending a lot of time in, Balmora, at the local temple. The NPCs are located in the basement and are named Lithanu, Halalu, and Lorara Oman. From Lithanu you will want to buy the Powerwell spell to fortify your Magicka. From Lorara you would want to buy the spell named Wisdom so that way we can fortify Intelligence. This is the only spell in the guide that needs to be inputted exactly as I tell you. Fortify Magicka first, then Fortify Intelligence regardless of the magnitude you choose. With the best spell we get 50 Magicka back off of 20 Magicka cost. The middle spell 32 Magicka back off of a 15 Magicka cost, and the weakest spell 17 Magicka back off a 10 Magicka cost. You never want to drop the magnitude for both effects below 50 as you will either lose Magicka or break even. Now how this spell works is by temporarily raising your max Magicka by these effects in this specific order. When it wears off, the game divides your current Magicka pool in half, then rounds up. This is where the beauty of the system happens because some of the Magicka ends up sticking around without a time limit. You just have to remember you need to maintain the base Magicka cost of the spell to be able to cast it, otherwise you will need to use potions to recover or sleep. One other bonus for the base requirements for this spell is it also unlocks all other fortify stat spells for the custom spells or enchanting use. It's the Inhuman Endurance spell and only requires 2 bases, one you can start with if your restoration skill is high enough at character creation. The point of the spell is to heal over time both your fatigue and health so that you won't get overwhelmed until you can create constant effect heal over time items. This is another spell I recommend making even if you aren't a mage class, simply because it is too important to keep not only your HP but your fatigue up in all stages of the game, since so much of the combat is based around fatigue plus not dying. The bases we need are found in 2 places if you didn't start with the Hearth Heal spell. If you need to buy it, Hearth Heal is just in TESIII from Ariel at his trade house. The other base is in the Balmora Temple in the top section from an NPC named TESIII. The spell you want to buy from him is named Rest of St. Mary's. This spell does not require any special order, but looks like this. You will need to play with the magnitude and duration to make it reliably cast for you. For example, earlier in the game, I may only do a magnitude 1 or 3 for a duration of 10 seconds for both fatigue and HP. But with this spell and the Restore Magicka spell from the previous tip, you effectively don't need to sleep anymore since you can cast both these spells while running to your next area or target. Plus it will level up your restoration skill, which means easy levels if you picked it as a major or minor. Be sure to update it as you level up. In my current playthrough, my character is level 32 and can maintain a magnitude 25 fatigue HP spell for 30 seconds at a time. Keeping this train chugging, our next spell is Restore Attributes. The reason we need this, even regardless of if you're a mage or not, is simply because unless you've played this game for a long time, you don't know the pain of fighting mobs that can damage your stats. They can reduce, for example, your strength, causing you to become overburdened and have to start throwing loot on the ground until you can move again. Or even worst case scenario, start throwing your own gear on the ground just to move. To unlock this effect, we will want to purchase Restore Endurance from TESIII again in the upstairs area of Balmora Temple. And that is it for all the spell bases. You'll then want to go to the custom spell maker and make a custom spell that looks like this. Again, you want to adjust the X to be something that you can reliably cast. Whether that's 1, 3, 5, 10, it doesn't matter, just as long as you can reliably cast it. It may also be helpful to split these up into different stats and different spells, so that way you only have, say, Restore Intelligence and Strength on one spell and Restore Speed and Endurance on another. This way it again will help you reliably cast these spells and keep your Magicka cost down. These next few spells are mainly used for enchanting bases except for the Resist Magicka spell. This is an important spell that we'll use as a base to make an even more powerful spell to negate the downsides of one of the best boots in the game that you can get. Of course, longtime vets will know that I'm referencing the Boots of Blinding Speed. The Boots of Blinding Speed's gimmick is exactly like it sounds. When you wear them, you're blind, but your speed is fortified by 200 points. However, if you are able to craft the spell and cast it before equipping the boots, you will get all of the benefits and none of the downsides. To get this base is very easy, as Arl sells it in TESIII in his trade house. From there you want to make a spell that looks exactly like this. After that, it's quite simple. Cast the newly crafted spell. Once you see the spell effect, open the inventory and equip the boots, or press the hotkey you assigned the boots to. Especially if you're on an Elder Scrolls 3 multiplayer server, since time doesn't stop when the inventory is open. And just like that, all the speed, but you can see. If you're interested in acquiring the Elemental Resist 2 Sharn Mazgab, sell all 4 of them in the Balmora's Mage Guild. Moving towards the finish line, our next batch of spells will be the Fortify Skill spells. Unless you use a mod, you can only buy these from 4 different NPCs in the Tribunal and Blood Moon expansion areas. The first trainer would be located at Mournhold Temple, Hall of Ministry, named Naril Andoran. The second and third are at the Royal Palace's Imperial Cult Services, named Lorena Maria and Curito Olsianus. Lastly, from Skull Village and Solstheim is Bronrod the Roarer. It may be a good idea to go out to the Skull Village versus the other 2 areas, since visiting Mournhold or the Royal Palace can mess up the Dark Brotherhood assassin spawns if you want to keep farming them. You also only need to buy 1 Fortify skill spell to unlock access to all of the skills in the custom spells menu. There are a few different ways to use these, but the 2 most common custom spells are the Fortify Enchanting spell, which allows you to enchant basically any item in the game at 100% if you time it right, and avoid those annoyingly outrageous enchanting NPC costs. The other one normally used is a simple acrobatic spell to get around easier, but you need to cast it again almost every other jump. Rounding out our restoration spells are ones that you should pick up eventually, but shouldn't be prioritized until you absolutely need them. These spells also don't need any custom tweakings, as the base forms sold by the NPCs are good enough. They are Cure Common Disease, Cure Blight Disease, Cure Poison, and Dispel. You can get Cure Common Disease and Vex Tears, which is just another name for Cure Blight Disease, from Lethano Halalu in the basement of the Balmora Temple, and Cure Poison plus Dispel from Sharn Gra Muzgob in the Balmora Mages Guild. These are very situational, and they also can be cured from temple donations, but buying the spells will save time and money in the long run. But just to reiterate, there are so many other spell effects that you want to get from other schools of magic first. And with that, we have covered basically every spell effect you want to get from the Restoration School of Magic in Morrowind. Just a reminder that if you use mods that affect the magic system in a big way, the spells may work differently or be located in different places. Stay tuned for part 2 in our series that covers destruction and conjuration spells. Be sure to comment below with your thoughts, and if you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Take it easy, world. If you end up liking the video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, thumbs up, and hit that bell notification. Now on with the video.